welcome to this week's episode of the Super Split Screen Brothers. I am Nick, and you are?
I'm Jared from Comics League. What's up, brother?
Not much. You know, it's been a bit of a interesting week for gaming. You know, kind of some stuff. We're kind of in like this lull period. February is kind of really when things started to pick up as far as gaming news. Like we had an Xbox Direct. We'll probably be talking about that one first off the top of the news hour. You know, some of the releases of that one. But yeah. So let's kind of start it off with what we've been playing as players. So Jared, what have you been playing, playa?
I started. That's nice. I started another playthrough of actually Dead Space 3.
Nice.
Because I own all of them. I enjoy them. I enjoyed 3. I thought it was pretty cool. And I played a little bit of Ghost Recon this week. I haven't played a lot of military games in a while. I've been focusing a lot on comic book games, but I love Ghost Recon because the idea of the game is you're placed in this large map. It's open world. And traditionally in these games, you're like the special ops guy that has all this backup and all this equipment. No, it's just you against a numerically superior and technologically superior force. So you're like the insurgent.
Is that the one where they did like all those crazy DLCs? Like they did a Splinter Cell DLC and they did like a Predator DLC?
Yeah, that was the one before this. This is the one where they turn it into a looter shooter and the fans freaked out so bad that they actually made
Wildlands?
No, it's Breakpoint. They made it so you could actually turn off the looter shooter part. Which obviously I do.
That is some Battlefront 2 level. Please come back.
Yeah, the thing about it is that I don't want to pause the game every second, every time I get a kill to swap out to a better gun that I just hate.
Or like a gun that you hate, like, oh, it pumps out better numbers, but like I hate it, how it looks, the firing rate, you know, all that kind
of stuff. So I'm just like, I just want to play the game with the loadout I want and just have at it. That's it. But yeah, this game continues on the whole, what is it, tradition that Ubisoft does when they connect all their games, particularly the Tom Clancy games. Like the Rainbow Six people from Siege show up in both games, as a matter of fact, Wildlands and Breakpoint.
Oh, nice. They need to do another Splinter Cell game, I swear.
Oh, heck yeah. I think that could do really well. And besides that, I've been playing more DC Online.
Oh, what system?
Xbox, of course. I told you.
Okay. Yeah, we should play together sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as for myself, I've been diving back into No Man's Sky. It is, oh my god, it's an amazing game. We need to play it together sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have it on Xbox?
Yeah.
It's crossplay, so we can play together.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll talk later. So yeah, I've been playing No Man's Sky. It's just a really great game. It's kind of like scratches an itch. Like I really like games that I can kind of just live in. Mm-hmm. You know, like kind of just do stuff. Like it's got a main story. Like I really love truly open world games. Like sometimes you just have like open world games where it's just like, hey, there's a story. It's a linear progression, but we're open world. You know, you see that in a lot of Ubisoft games and whatnot.
In Wildlands and Breakpoint, you can actually play the missions in any order. So it's kind of breaking that mold because they don't necessarily like it, particularly in Breakpoint, because a lot of it is just you're taking out these different parts of the cartel. And obviously, if you take out like their manufacturing or the distribution, it's not going to affect the flow of the story. You're still advancing the story.
Mm-hmm. Kind of reminds me of this older game called Mercenaries back on the Xbox.
Mm-hmm. I've heard about it.
You might want to check that out. They did like a playing card kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it's kind of throwing off topic. But yeah, I love No Man's Sky. It's really fun. I need to get you into that. So
I'm already into it. I love it.
All right, we'll talk later. So yeah. So now that we kind of covered what we've been playing, well, you know what's been going on, you know.
All right. So news.
Yes. So first off, let's talk about Wizards. Okay. I thought this was kind of I thought this topic was kind of done. Like it's like we had it's like came in the controversy happened. We talked about it, and I thought it kind of like gone from like kind of like mainstream geek to just like people who cared. Now it's kind of back. It's kind of jumped back up a level because Blizzard has announced. They made an announcement. They waved the light flag, if you will.
Oh yeah. We won.
So basically what happens is obviously they apologize, but they made some drastic moves. They put the system reference document, which is like the rules for 5.0, they put it under the Creative Commons license. Basically, what that means is, if you're familiar with like open source, with when it comes to computer programs, it's basically a free model. It's something that like they can't even revoke. Like it's a legal document that like the original OGL they put language in that couldn't be revoked. This one they couldn't even revoke even if they wanted to. Like there's no way around it.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is like a level above even anything they could do. So it's like pretty bold move. I just want to say thank you to everyone who unsubscribed from D&D Beyond. It, kind of leaked that was the metric they were using to show like how pissed people off were. And yeah, people like what I really
when you have a game that purports to give players freedom to like make their own stories and stuff, and then you take away part of that freedom, can you? You're surprised that people were pissed off?
Yeah, I for me, I think the issue is. Like, even with the new rules, it was still a lot more open than a lot of these other companies did. The problem is, for one, they've had this openness for, like, dang near 20 years. But also, they had some kind of provisions in there that were like, we could take your content, they're kind of going after Critical Role and whatnot. So, I just want to say, the thing I loved about the situation is it was a uniting moment. Like, people of all kind of walks just kind of came together and be like,
how often do you see a fandom unite like that?
Not often. It was a good sight to see.
It's bad when you piss literally everyone off. The only time I've ever seen a fandom that united is the Halo fandom, which I have some news about that too. So we'll talk about that later.
Oh yeah, you have your weekly Halo corner. We'll probably cover that after we get done with this Wizard stuff. Yeah. We got a little bit of a big one to cover towards the end, so we'll give you your Halo corner after this. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it's just really great, and I'm really happy. So I guess we're all a bunch of angels with halos on top of our heads. And speaking of halos.
Yeah.
I had to give you a segue. I had to come up with a segue
that.
real quick.
But, all right. So what happened, this happened relatively recently. So Microsoft started sending out this survey that's like, are you happy with the way 343 is handling Halo?
No!
Are you happy with this?
No, we're not.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's a bad sign for 343. It's like, are you happy with how much content is coming out? Yeah, exactly. And everyone's like going, no. And I'm like, that is not good. That is really not good if they actually have to put all that stuff in there. It doesn't bode well for 343, particularly when they're firing half the staff.
I bet Microsoft's like, can we just rebuy Bungie, please? Oh, wait, Sony bought them.
Yeah, wait, I'm trying to pull it. I'm trying to find it so I can actually pull it up and show you, because this is like Microsoft survey. It is so, I was like, what in the name of Microsoft wants to know if players are done with Halo Infinite? It's by Games Radar. Hey, hang on, can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, this is your stream. Well, it's our stream. But
Check this out. So they want to know if people are done with Halo Infinite. So here's the survey. All right. So question 1: are you done with Halo Infinite? Question 2:
I guess Halo wasn't quite so infinite after all.
Wait, it gets worse. Question 2: do you think 343 Industries is listening and making changes to Halo Infinite based on community feedback? No,
yes, no, F no.
And then I can trust. Here's another one. I can trust release dates and roadmaps for upcoming 343 Infinite content. No, because remember, guess what was supposed to come out by about now? Split screen co-op and like all these other features
Literally
that they were
everything.
supposed to put in there.
Literally everything.
Oh, please indicate how much you agree or disagree. I think 343 Industries is doing a good job communicating with the community. No.
Is there is there a let's see here. Is there a -5 million option?
Yeah. What traditional Halo multiplayer modes would you like to see added? Because they took out a lot of iconic modes like Infection, Fire. They don't have firefights.
They couldn't even do
all the game modes. Literally, all of the game modes that like define Halo. Yeah, my boy. Literally, because it's 12 years ago he was announced to play Man of Steel. That kind of still hurts, but literally most of the game modes that made Halo the couch game that you want to play with your buddies is not in Halo Infinite. Literally, they made Halo Infinite multiplayer turned into both the most Halo multiplayer and the most anti-Halo multiplayer. So the very fact that Microsoft themselves, yeah, I know, the very fact that Microsoft themselves,
343, this is for you.
Yeah, the very fact that Microsoft themselves is putting that out, that is very, very significant.
I'm doing sign
you know what keeps trending
around the YouTube algorithm.
Do you know what keeps trending? Fire 343. You know, I did a video, a 30-second video that's just me uninstalling Halo Infinite from my Xbox. It was viewed in 2 days 1.5 thousand times. And people are like, you did fix Halo. And with the caption, I fixed Halo Infinite. And then someone said, oh my gosh, it works. Everyone's like, someone told me this literally my video literally changed their lives.
Oh, wow.
No, but again, your bosses are asking the audience, are you satisfied? Are you done with Halo Infinite? That is not good.
I've been done with Halo Infinite. So done, I've never even played it.
Yeah, no, I know, but isn't it significant that that their bosses are now asking the fans if they're done with Halo?
You know, if 343 is not careful, those servers are going to become quite the dead space.
Well, guess what? Yeah, exactly. Nice pun. But real quick before we move on, because Halo Infinite had like a really good player base in the very beginning when the game launched, because it was a return. The thing about the heartbreaking thing about Infinite, the story's fantastic. It's one of the best Halo stories I've ever played. The multiplayer, gameplay wise, this is important. Gameplay wise, is a return to form. Yes, you have sprint, you have a grappling hook, but they still made it feel like Halo. Content-wise, it is one of the worst Halo games of all time in terms of like releasing
the servers
new content.
Are literally a dead space right now.
Yes, and one more thing. Speaking of live service games screwing everything up, there you go. So
I just tried to segue like twice.
No, I was almost done. But yeah, so going on. That's the end of my Halo rant, but going to Dead Space because it's a dead topic. Some could argue it's a dead game.
So yeah, speaking of a game that's been necroed to life, but they just couldn't help themselves.
You could say it morphed. It was a necro that morphed. I got you. There you go. That's my one pun.
Oh. So they recently released a Dead Space remake, and for all intents and purposes, for what I've been able to gather, it's been a pretty good remake. People like it, but someone just couldn't help themselves. And by that I mean, in a multi-million-dollar game made by a multi-billion-dollar company, the person who made this is probably knocking down at least 50 to 60K a year. They're probably in the upper middle class people who they could not help themselves. They wrote an anti-capitalistic message on this game. They added it to it, and it's like,
how did they do
correct
that?
me if I'm wrong. Is capitalism kind of a theme of the game?
Yeah. Because remember, the corporation that like ran the ship is partly responsible for what happened to like the Ishimura.
Yeah, but like there's like times when it's like they wrote a message that's like kind of takes you out of the whole thing.
Oh, you could say they take it to an extreme level, yeah, but it's to a certain degree, anti-capitalism has been like in the game since the very beginning.
Fair enough, My argument is they wrote a message that's like not in keeping with the theme of the game. It's like
Yeah.
more modern politics. Like, sure,
Yeah. Okay.
anti-capitalism is kind of modern politics.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I agree with you on that one because they made it more nuanced in the other games where it's like, okay, if you want to take it, if you want to interpret it that way, fine, but it's not like in your face. In this one, I hear it's in your face.
yeah, and that's kind of a running theme for a lot of these modern politics, where it's like instead of being subtle about it, they kind of put in your face. Like instead of doing a whole game about for example, BioShock is a great anti-capitalist video game. It's all about the dangers of Ayn Rand level libertarianism economics. Laissez-faire capitalism. It is a strong critique, but it does it in a way that it's great. I don't agree with those that kind of anti messages, but I love the game because I think it's great for it presents the message just beautifully.
And this goes to what this may seem a little bit off topic, but trust me, it is. When Kevin Feige was talking about the MCU, and he goes, "You have to be able to entertain them first, because otherwise they're going to be shut off completely to whatever you're trying to say to them."
That's a desperation message because Disney, the house is a bit on fire right now. I don't know if you kind of followed like the shakeup.
It's that meme of the kid look at the camera and smiling as the house burns down.
Yeah, like the Kevin Feige stuff is but yeah, I really wanted to kind of cover this topic right before we get into the main theme of it. Because I feel like, kind of talking about like capitalism and monetization and art is a really good primer for our main topic.
Yeah.
Which we're kind of got through the Dead Space stuff, which that kind of didn't turn out quite the way I want. But we had a good discussion about it, which I do appreciate. So monetization in video games. Yeah, so
dun,
switch that
dun,
one over for you, buddy.
What?
It's switch the topics over, buddy.
Oh yeah, okay. And trust me, Halo had a brush with this in the past, like last game too.
Yeah, so basically the kind of the thesis for this is basically we're going to talk about how like the monetization process in video games is really kind of sinking the ship, and while monetization can be a good thing or even at the very least not a bad thing, it's really overrun nowadays.
Yeah. Because here's
the first kind of
ultimately my opinion on this is that if it's just to buy like costumes and skins for your characters, okay, fine. I could see that. But if it's to buy like resources and stuff to advance in the game faster, that's when I really have to take a hard stance no, because that's just pay to win at that point.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I'm a little bit more harder stance because I feel like even cosmetics can be weaponized because like cosmetics,
trust me,
you can have like a social incentive. Like peer pressure to be like, oh, you want to have cool costumes and whatnot.
That's just my compromise, but really I'm against the way they monetize it completely. I think if you're buying a $60 to $70 game, you should give me the entire game or give me the capacity to unlock this stuff by playing the game.
Yeah, like I know like basically the common excuse is like because like we get games where it's like the DLC is being worked on even before they ship the game. And then it's like, oh, everything's finalized 6 months to a year beforehand. So like these people have nothing to do. It's like, then what? Like this wasn't an issue, up until 2005 when, the whole DLC. Because like before DLC, we had expansions, and expansions were really a big thing on the PC space, even in the 90s. And they were fine. They were great. Yeah. But the problem you have now is, expansion DLCs are fine. It's just when you do stuff, we've had bad monetization. Like for example, Capcom with their fighting games, they put the DLC characters on disc DLC. You remember hearing about that?
There's not D. There's no D in that thing because it's on the disc. What are you talking about?
Disc loaded content, maybe.
Okay, but still, I'm like, what the? But it's like Halo had
that's
this
just the entire game. If you're gonna do that.
Well, let me put it this way: Halo in the past, before Halo like 5, did it well. What they did is that you could just pay for like extra maps and stuff, but you could still get the classic
Mm-hmm.
Halo. You could still get the complete Halo experience without buying DLC whatsoever. And then eventually they
I
came out
mean,
with like a version. When ODST came out, they had a second disc that was Halo 3 multiplayer, but every Halo 3 map that had ever come out, even on DLC. So they still give you access to that. Even MCC gives you every single map that's ever been in a Halo game.
yeah, like most of the time, the life cycle of these games is like game comes out, you get 2, 3, 4 big expansions, maybe some smaller stuff, and then the Game of the Year edition comes out, which has everything. Okay, sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
That's
think
fine.
anyone really has a problem with that cycle.
And once again,
Like
as long
Skyrim
as
did
I can
it,
get the
Fallout.
full experience, as long as I can get the full experience without paying a penny on like DLC, I'm fine with like, okay, like if I want to get like if you want to, because sometimes I get why they want to do sequel expansions, because you don't know if the game is going to be successful enough to warrant a full-on sequel. So like, let's just do
Mm-hmm.
this more small scale. I get that. And it's like, as long as it's like, you don't need to know the DLC. You don't need to play the DLC to understand the story of the main game. I'm fine with it. Like, if it's just like, here's the story, but from another person's perspective, that's fine. Or if it's like a sequel to the game or like a prequel even, I'm fine with that, because plenty of games do that. Because I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's just enriching the experience. It's not taking away if I decide not to play it.
And then you have games like Azura's Wrath, where the initial release, the ending of the game was locked behind a DLC.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that actually happened.
Oh my gosh. Or I believe the word, I think the worst modern, the most modern, worst example of monetization, Battlefront 2.
Exactly. That is
Where
like
they had to
that was so
calculate.
bad. Governments were getting
Mhm.
involved.
Let me put it this way: did they calculate that it would cost like $700 for the chance to play as Darth? Because here's the thing: here's the way that game worked. It wasn't like once you like buy, let's say you buy Darth Vader, you're buying the chance to play as him. You still have to play well enough to unlock to like accumulate
Well,
enough points to
actually,
play as him.
no. What it was is there was an in-game currency,
Mm-hmm.
and basically, you could buy the currency, or you got it through playing matches, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think they calculated if you wanted to earn him through just playing, it would take an obscene like 40 hours to unlock Darth Vader.
So really, they were trying to put at that point. It seemed like the game was trying to push you toward actually spending money on the game. And at that point, did they calculate it would cost like $700 for the chance to play as Darth Vader?
I'm not sure on that one. I take your word for it, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up right now.
See, like a lot of these games, they like to pretend like, oh, you could earn stuff in the game. Like one game that I do give a pass for, which you would be surprised, is GTA 5.
Oh yeah.
Because like I don't know if you've ever played GTA Online, even though it is monetized to heck and back, it's actually not that hard to earn money if you grind. Like there is
Mm-hmm.
actually a lot of different income sources. Like there's Cayo Perico, there's the MC businesses. Like it's actually not that hard to get a lot of the stuff you want, and it's kind of like a rolling thing where it's like the more kind of gear you have, the easier it is to get more stuff. And I'm fine with that kind of model, where the
Yeah.
grind becomes easier as you go along. So it's like, which and so yeah, like GTA 5, even though, and I think that's probably why it's probably the most profitable entertainment product ever, is because it hit that kind of sweet spot of over monetization, but at the same time, it's like through play, it's not that hard to get stuff, so it's like it really
Yeah, it's
hit
like
that
as
sweet
long as
spot.
literally, if you just play the game and do like jobs and do like other stuff in the game, you will make money to buy pretty much anything in that game. And
Mm-hmm.
you'll make it in a fair amount of time. It's not like with this, it'll take you like an obscenely amount of time just for the chance to play as a character. And by the way, it
Like your average.
single-handedly changed EA's approach to monetization because of like the massive backlash from that.
Like I would say, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order would not have come out as it did if it wasn't for Battlefront.
Yeah,
Fallen
it would
Order
have had
was their
some.
apology.
Yeah, and it would have had some type of like obscene monetization. But what I was
Because
referring to.
remember,
Yeah, go ahead.
remember, we lost out on an Amy Hennig directed Uncharted style Star Wars game being
Yeah,
done by the developers of Dead Space,
that
like
was like
Project
the
Ragtag.
1313, right?
No, the Project Ragtag. This was separate.
Oh, okay.
1313 was a game that was being developed by LucasArts
Okay.
right before the buyout. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of a separate thing. This was Project Ragtag. This is like this is going to be like an Uncharted style game directed by the woman who made Uncharted, and I believe it was being done by the original Dead Space developers or like
That's such a great.
someone.
That sounds so great.
I think it was being done by it would have been really great. But the problem is EA at the time was like, can we monetize it? Can we live service it? No, then go. I think what Fallen Order was kind of a mixture of the fallout of Battlefront 2, but also Jedi Fallen Order was done by Respawn, the people who had made Apex Legends. So I think because they made Apex Legends, they probably had some clout. It was like, dude, we made you Apex Legends. It's making you gobs of money.
Which,
Just
by the
let us
way,
make,
Apex had virtually no marketing before it came out. It just came out and like blew up like a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, because
So
Apex, Apex was really crazy because it really like established itself as like because like Apex kind of came out into like a PUBG, Fortnite world, and it just instantly carved out its niche.
yeah, somehow, and it was kind of funny. They said it was in the Titanfall universe, but barely anything except like some of the characters linked to Titanfall. But anyway, so what I always want to say with Halo. So Halo 5, they introduced this new game mode called I think it was called Invasion. So basically, what it was all right. It's a PvPvE game mode. So basically, it's two teams battling and completing objectives, but they're also fighting enemy AI.
Okay.
Or it could be PvE. So in other words, you could fight other players and the AI, or you could just fight the AI. So in this, they had a system called the Rec Pack system, where by playing the game, you would unlock these little, like, essentially trading card booster packs in game, and you can play a card in the game, and it'll give you like a gun or a vehicle or a power up.
Exodia! Obliterate!
Yeah. The problem with this is that you could also buy like these packs in like the in-game store to the point where people were like buying like you could buy as many as 58 gold packs. So people were like getting all of it got to the point, Nick, I profited from this because there was this time where, okay, I got like 80 tanks. So at the end of the game, me and my buddies would just all hop in tanks and just wreck everything in front of us. So it became one of the worst pay-to-play experiences I've ever experienced.
That's not how you do it.
That's not how you do it. And the sad part is that Halo showed how you do DLC again, because you had like, okay, some maps were DLC, but you could also they made the maps good enough that you really didn't care if you got the DLC, because Halo maps, even though on the default disc, are iconic.
Yeah, and they've been doing DLCs for Halo as far back as the Halo 2 days. Because remember, they had like the Halo 2 map pack, which was like a physical DVD you bought.
Yeah, and by the way, all those maps are available in the MCC. In MCC, they literally took anything that ever came out for Halo, one disc.
Did they release some of the movies like Forward Unto Dawn onto MCC?
Not on MCC, but that's how you got access to like Nightfall.
What's Nightfall?
Which was the Halo movie that was coming out before 5. Because what they traditionally did is that they would release live action like shows or movies that eventually became movies to hype up the games. Forward Unto Dawn was for Halo 4. Nightfall was for Halo 5. It told basically the background of Spartan Locke.
Okay.
It's really
cool. I remember wasn't like Halo 5 basically like they tried to like introduce Locke as like the replacement for Master Chief, and it just didn't go over well.
Well, the thing about it is that the marketing on that game was pretty much, okay, so Chief and Locke are going to fight and are going to fight the entire game. That's the way it was marketed. And Angry Joe had this great thing. He was like, okay, so I get it. You want to have like this epic Spartan versus Spartan battling the entire game together, right? That sounds cool, right? If it actually showed up in the game, instead you get a cutscene where they punch each other. That is it. And then Locke's like, okay, I want to help you, Chief. Like, where the hell did this come from?
It could have been a cool boss battle.
Well, it could have been a cool thing if because literally the entire game was, the entire marketing campaign was Chief's gone rogue, Locke, you have to hunt him down. That would have been so dope as a Halo game.
Like basically you have to fight Master Chief as Locke.
Yeah. Or either way, and also in a Halo game, you can only play as Chief for 3 missions. And you know what they counted as a mission? Like three of the missions that you play as Locke were just walking around and talking to people.
Wait, you're playing as Chief, you mean?
No, because in Halo 5, you could play as Chief and Locke. In other words, it alternates between their teams.
Okay.
But Locke you play as for like 6 of the 9 missions. Well, actually, it was significantly more. All I know is that you only play as Chief for 3 missions. And then 3 of the ones where you play as Locke were just walking around and talking to people. It was the most lazy-ass Halo game. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that game did monetization very poorly. Heck, Avengers, speaking of games that like collapse, and actually, part of their announcement when they said we're going to end support is that in March they're going to do an update where everything in the store is free. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I can get all the MCU out. Watch everyone just does the MCU outfits for all the characters now.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure they're still going to sell, like, are they making all the DLC free as well?
Well, DLC was always free, as far as I know.
Oh, okay.
In terms of like story expansions, but the only thing they're not doing, they're keeping Spider-Man as a PlayStation exclusive, and I'm like, well, that blows. But anyway, but again, that game did monetization.
I think they really missed their mark. They could have, like, since it was going to be a Sony exclusive regardless, they really should have just had that be the PS4 Spider-Man and just kind of tie that in. That was a missed mark.
Because even in PS4 Spider-Man, like you said multiple times, guess what? They reference the Avengers being on the other coast. But again, that game, okay, so the way that game's monetization worked is that, yes, you can is that as far as I know, you couldn't like buy like any of the MCU costumes without actual money. And I'm like, okay, at least give me the opportunity to earn because you had to get a certain currency that I believe at some point you could only get by buying the currency. I'm like, why would you do this? I know, don't you love it when you actually have to buy money in the game? You have to buy money. That's the most weirdo part of this.
Yeah, it's like a lot of these games, they have like these 2-tiered monetization systems. Like for example, in RDR2 Online, you have cash, which you earn in game by like doing stuff, and then you have gold, which you can earn gold in game, but it's a lot slower. But gold is like the premium currency that you buy.
Mm-hmm. Which I still think any currency for any part of the game you should be able to earn in game. That's it. They can make it faster by saying you can buy it, but at least give me the opportunity to earn it just by playing your game.
Yeah, what you're talking about is kind of like the pay to win versus pay for convenience model.
Yeah,
which could be fine, but also at the same time, you get what Ubisoft did in Assassin's Creed Origins. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't. What'd they do?
So basically, the Ubisoft Origins, they sold XP bonuses, and this is a single player game, mind you. In Assassin's Creed Origins, they sold XP bonuses so you can level up faster in Assassin's Creed Origins.
They did that in Odyssey, because the thing about Odyssey is that you literally
had to play. That's what I was talking about. That's what. Yes.
Okay, good. Because I was like, the way this game works, audience, if you haven't played this, is that when you complete a mission, the next mission to advance the story is 2 levels above you. So you either have to purchase the XP boost, which was supposed to boost you past that point, or do literally every side mission in side quest in the game.
Which to be fair, as a mechanic to make you do the side missions is fine. Like, I don't like, as a mechanic to make you do side content, I don't mind that.
But don't give me the option to skip that by saying I'm just gonna buy it.
Yeah, it's bad, you know.
I'm like, I'm just like, guys, this is not. This is. I get that gaming has gotten more expensive, but there's no reason for this level of BS.
Oh, okay. That's kind of tapping into another thing where it's like, they raise the prices of like new games from like 60 to 70, and
Oh
their
no.
excuse is, oh, games are more expensive to develop. Never mind the fact that these games are making more money through monetization now than they ever have been.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, no, I don't accept that excuse. Because guess what? You make that money back just in microtransactions alone.
Like if they raise the price from like even 60 to 80, but then they said we're not going to do monetization, and then they actually stopped the monetization, then maybe I would be willing to accept that
Yeah,
price hike.
you can't have both. You can't have both because guess what? No, keep it at 60. If we're going off the illusion that these games are like so expensive now that you have to do this, that you have to raise the price, then because guess what? You make that it's an objective fact that you make that money back. You make billions of dollars in those stupid online stores.
And you know what more people are going to do? They're going to be like, oh, I have so many games to play. I'm just going to wait a year or two, wait for it to go half off, whatever on these sales. Then I'll play it.
Hell, yeah, it's with me. I got Agents of Mayhem, the collector's edition, the digital special edition that had like every DLC for $3 because it was on sale on Xbox.
Yeah, same thing. Like I bought Cyberpunk for $30 when it was on sale. Literally half off, and I'm waiting for basically waiting for Spider-Man to hit $30, and I'm probably gonna buy it then.
That would be a good thing to stream for channels, dude. By the way, Spider-Man, that game, they straight up almost give you skins. Like I booted up the game for the first time. I didn't have to buy any of the MCU skins. They're just automatically there. Like, here you go. And I'm like, thank you.
And like, yeah, they did have paid DLC, but it was story expansions. Like, it was actual, like, another 5 to 10 hours of gameplay, and they gave you a couple of those. Like, yeah, that's fair. Like, you want me to pay money for that? Sure, I'll pay for that.
Arkham Knight. In that game, you got to unlock, like, other bat suits and Batmobiles and racetracks and challenges, but ultimately the story was the story. Oh, and also you got to buy like additional story content that took place like before or after the main story. So in other words, you got the complete experience.
They could easily charge $3 for a costume. Like, you want to play as 2099? Here, pay $3, and most people would be okay with that.
I bought BVS Batman immediately. Well, actually, I got because Xbox had an edition, had like a like, what was it? A like the thing in their store. One button, you buy every skin. And I'm like, okay, click. First, like, I believe it was like $10. So I was like, oh, I'm not gonna. You give me this option for this good price. I'm not gonna say no to that, particularly if it's Batman.
Yeah, I get you.
Which is why I'm concerned about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, because you know how it's like a battle pass, and what battle pass tells me is XP boosters.
Yeah. Plus, with Suicide Squad, it's like I feel like it's kind of following the same trap the Avengers did. Like, they're marketing it like it's a single player game when it's probably more of a multiplayer game. Like, I feel like it's going to go down the same way.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it doesn't, because I hope it doesn't even more, because I'm more of a DC fan. Because they could easily, like, here's an example of what they could do for fun. Like, they probably won't do this. DLC characters, like you could play as the squad from James Gunn's Suicide Squad, or David Ayers if we ever get that cut. But my point is,
or Squadron Supreme.
Well, that's not a squad. If it was a Justice League game, that'd be hilarious. If it was a DC versus Marvel, can you imagine a Justice League versus Squadron Supreme game? That'd be awesome.
No. Okay, I'm going to steal your thunder because you referenced Squadron Supreme all so often. Imagine if they did a DLC for Avengers versus Squadron Supreme, and they had the like Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot voice the character.
I want that as a movie. I just want Zack Snyder is directing Squadron Supreme with all the actors, and he's just doing his storyboards.
Get it out. You mention this every stream, so I'm just like, get it out.
Yeah. But anyway, but what I mean is that that's the way they could easily do that. And I've said that because if the leaks are to be believed, it ends on like Wonder Woman saying, okay, we have to do the Flashpoint protocol. And I said, hey, here's a DLC idea, a sequel campaign that you buy for like maybe like $10, $15, depending on it. and it's what happens afterwards. You play as like Wonder Woman, Flash, and 2 other Justice League members enacting the Flashpoint Protocol.
I will say, Rocksteady doing a Justice League Flashpoint game actually sounds kind of cool.
Well, here's the thing. That's why. Here's the thing. I have a little more faith in Suicide Squad because it's made by Rocksteady.
Yeah, true. I guess we'll see. I don't know, because like I feel like Suicide Squad is like that one team where Warner Brothers really thinks they're more popular than they actually are.
Yeah, they're not, and the performances of both Suicide Squad movie shows that. But my point is that in terms of actual game quality and handling monetization, I have a little more. Granted, I always say trust no one because they could still let you down. But I'm willing to give this game more of a chance because it's Rocksteady and they handle the Arkham games, particularly with monetization, those games so well. So I have a little more faith. Because for all we know, the battle pass could just be play the game and you get all this. That's it. It could be that all the DLC is just skins and no XP boosters.
I mean, if they do kind of the thing where like you can just play the game single player without any of the multiplayer battle pass BS, then people might be a little more sympathetic. But I don't know.
Because it's like, okay, even that, because they could like lock skins behind each thing and you just play the game and it just advances your, because plenty of games have that where like you play the game and you get like campaign XP and you just unlock stuff for the campaign. That would be good.
Yeah, I think the problem with Avengers was like I watched the cutscenes, I watched some of the gameplay. There's actually not a pretty decent game buried in there. The problem is at some point you get to a base and you have to do these random ass missions and grind and whatnot. And you're like, I just want to play the game. I want the story. I'm invested in the story.
Particularly when the missions are pretty much the same thing over and over again. Stand in one spot.
It literally just grinds the game to a halt. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I hope that Justice League can do it because you're right. Because the Avengers story game, even though it's a Ms. Marvel game, is actually very good. It's a good story. The overall gameplay is great. The other problem with the Avengers is that the characters didn't really feel like the characters. Like when you play as the Hulk, you should completely crush like standard enemies. Like you should knock them like thousands of like yards away. It shouldn't be like
there's very few characters that can take a punch from the Hulk and live to tell the tale.
Yeah, but it's like I'm going up against a regular soldier and he takes more than one punch. I'm like against the Hulk or Mjolnir. Luckily, but here's the thing: they did do when you throw Mjolnir at someone, one stick people to a wall, so that's very satisfying. But it does kill them. So I'm like, oh, okay. You did at least that. But the point is that the characters didn't feel as powerful as they should, except for Thor, because once you fully power up Thor, he is the Thunder God. But anyway, back to monetization. The point is,
quick tangent. How would Thunder Goddess react to meeting Thor for the MCU?
You mean Athena? She'd be like, look at you, you little lightning bolt. Because trust me, in the comic, she is way more powerful than Thor. I pretty much took Thor and jacked up the power level.
I really hope you commission like a fan art piece where like she meets Thor.
She fights Thor.
You got to do one where she's wielding Mjolnir.
Oh heck yeah! I'm gonna do that one.
Where she's Barbie.
I have one. She's arm wrestling Wonder Woman.
That would be cool.
Because she has super strength. She has Wonder Woman's powers, except she doesn't fly. I don't want everyone to be able to fly.
Imagine she's lifting Mjolnir. She's like, this is surprisingly light. And Thor's like, she's worthy!
Yeah, I knew it. Or it's essentially what happened in Age of Ultron, where Vision's like, it's terribly well balanced. that was one of the best parts about that movie. But anyway, that's monetization. Rocksteady has proven to me with their past experiences that they can handle monetization. So I'm like, okay, I'm more particular. Here's the thing. I think that this game will do moderately well because here's why. Better than a Suicide Squad game would normally do because it has the most clickbaity title of all time. Plus, what ends the title? Justice League. That's why the title is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Because first off, that is very clickbait. And second off, Justice League is in the title. So people can be like, I want to play a game with the Justice League in it. So there you go. Particularly when there's never been a good Justice League game. There's been like okay games, but never really good games. There was Justice League Heroes that was basically a poor man's Ultimate Alliance. But that's why I'm saying I disagree that this particular game won't like attract a large audience because of the Suicide Squad tag.
All right. Well, enough of mindless cash grabs. Let's have some fun in games. I love how
I have the meme this time. I have the meme this time.
All right.
So here you go.
You know what?
I know, right? What?
Have you ever heard of a game called Steel Battalion?
No. It
was a game for the original Xbox. It had a $200 controller, which was basically just like a mech cockpit. I'll send you a picture of it afterwards. It is nuts.
What's it called?
Steel Battalion for the original Xbox.
Steel Battalion controller comes right up. Let me see this thing. Oh my gosh! Wait.
All right, show a picture on screen because it's just showing for people.
All right. Here we go. All right, so here's basically it.
That is a controller for a video game.
My God. So you're pretty much piloting a tank, is that it?
A mech.
Okay, a mech. Yeah, look at this. Or it's like, I try and play like games with my dad, like on like FPS games, because he plays sports games with me, but he's like, what do I do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So what you got on your bad jokes list this week?
All right. I really hate when people react to, when the games I play and they get told, you can't go any further. Seriously. It's like they think it's the end of the world.
Oh, yeah. I got it. That's good.
Gamers and famous musicians have one complaint in common. The fans are way too noisy.
Oh, yeah. I got it.
Gamers don't take hot showers. They take steamy ones.
Oh, wow.
Me and my boyfriend were completely in love, but we just couldn't be together. We were not on the same level. My girlfriend told me our relationship was over because I was spending too much time playing games. I think it may have been my destiny to break up with her.
Oh, wow.
I tried to go to a bar in Minecraft. The bartender wouldn't let me order a drink. He said they don't serve minors. Once you play a game online for over 10 hours, you are taken to a web page of video game puns. It's a sight for sore eyes.
Oh, I have a joke. You ready?
No. I got one more for you.
Yeah.
Garbage men are the best teammates. They're used to carrying trash.
All right. Yeah. All right, so here's mine. If Doom is eternal and Halo is infinite, then what is love?
Baby, don't hurt me.
Yeah, exactly. That's the joke. That's the joke.
No more.
That's the joke.
My gamer friend was eating pasta while he was playing. He shouted, "Spagatum, boys!"
I got one. What's a French gamer's favorite game mode in Halo?
What?
Regicide. I love big space.
My mom asked a man if playing video games caused real-life health effects. He said yes, and she asked how he knew. He told her he had a hunch.
Yeah.
You can always find out when a party is for a gamer by the number of streamers.
Oh, why did the Spartan cross the road? To get to the other hog. To get to the other hog like a warthog. Oh, how should one greet a forerunner? The people who built the rings. You wave Halo.
I knew a pro gamer who started testing politics simulator games. He was a protester.
Dude, what's the Master Chief's favorite natural disaster? Floods.
You know, gamers, they only like one type of fish. Cod. I met my gamer boyfriend while we were playing online. It was love at first sight.
I don't get that one.
Site as in website.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to play with my friend on Minecraft, so I blocked him.
Why didn't Bungie stick with Halo? It wasn't their destiny.
Why?
It wasn't their destiny.
The PC gamer was denied entry to a nightclub. It was exclusive.
Oh, Microsoft has realized that all their products get better PR by naming it after Halo mythology. I'm expecting the next Windows version to be Windows 117.
I wanted to make a Nintendo joke, but it was way too hard for me to think of one. I asked a Frenchman if he played video games. He said we.
These are such bad jokes. I'm like,
oh, you want to know why? So did you know? Did you know that like the French play so much video game? Like, you want to know how the French play so much video games?
Oh,
Their sirens go Wii U, Wii U, Wii U, Wii U, Wii U. Pirate games love to. What is a pirate's favorite genre of video games?
what?
RPGs.
Oh wow, he is bad puns, dude.
PC gamers can't use Uber. There are too many incompatible drivers.
Oh my gosh, jeez. I think you're
Mike
starting to
Tyson
read
hates
jokes, dude.
Mike Tyson hates people who play PlayStation. It may be because he's an Xboxer.
Wow.
I walked in on my Xbox crying the other day. I didn't know what to do, but I tried to console it.
Wow.
The console gamer got a terrible headache when he went to the art museum. There are too many frames.
Mm-hmm.
Mario has a rule that he never looks things up online. He's scared of browsers.
Wow.
I definitely recommend for any gamer to pre-book tickets for the new Sonic movie that's coming out. Tickets are going fast.
Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast.
Try as hard as you can, but I promise, you can't blindfold a Pokemon. It's just going to peek at you.
Oh, wow.
I asked a Nintendo fan to help me change a light bulb. He wasn't very helpful. He just kept playing with the Switch.
Dude.
All right, let's put a frame rate cap on that one.
Dude.
Let's pretend we're console gamers and put a frame rate cap on it.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, so this has been Nick Gibson from the Phoenix Press and Jared from Comics
And Jared from
League.
Comics League.
And so we'll see you next week. And remember, I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it.